Hey guys, J-Man here for a movie review, The Flash. All right, here we go. I'm going to review this movie using my SPACE method. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. If I give this movie a perfect score in a category, that doesn't mean it's the best. If I give the storyline a 2 out of 2, I'm not saying that the storyline of The Flash is better than the storyline of Lawrence of Arabia or Inherit the Wind or something. I'm reviewing this movie based on itself plus its promise, okay? So the promise is this is a Flash movie. We know it's going to be Flashpoint multiverse related. That's the thing that everyone's doing right now. Whether you like that idea or not, it doesn't matter. I don't like multiverses that much. I think they're okay for a one time, but not continuously. Everything's got to be a stupid multiverse. But I have to judge the movie I watch, so that's how it's going to be. Also, there will be no spoilers. There will be spoilers at the very end after I give my rating, and I will say spoilers, and then I'll give a little speech at the end of that. So definitely warning in advance. I also am not going to touch upon any actors' personal stuff. It's very important that you understand that. Listen, I'm not the morality police. I'm not even the regular police. I'm not a judge. I don't know any of the facts of Ezra Miller. Let's say the name Ezra Miller. I don't know what he's done outside. I know I've heard things. I don't follow people that way. I don't even know about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing at all. I literally have no idea what they did. I don't know what I know there's been some allegations or whatever. Listen, I don't know anything about that. It's not going to play a part in this review for me. I'm looking at the movie. I paid $25 plus 20 bucks for popcorn. So I paid $45 for IMAX tickets. That's Canadian. So I paid let's say 30 something bucks for all this, American. That's what I'm reviewing. I'm not reviewing what these people do outside of this. Okay. All right. So the storyline, I'm going to give the storyline a 1.5. That's above average. If a movie gets a 1 in every category, that's a pass. So if I give a movie a 5 or 6, that's sort of a pass. 7 or 8 is really good. Okay. 9 or 10 obviously is amazing. And again, I'm reviewing this based on itself. And its peers. So the 2 P's, its promise, its peers. So I'm not comparing the storyline of Flash, which I just gave 1.5, to the storyline of Terrifier, right? I'm comparing this to the other movies. So if I give Wonder Woman a 2 out of 2, let's say, right? That's a great storyline. I loved all the aspects of it. That's a 2 out of 2. This one's a 1.5. So the reason I'm giving it above average is that if the movie's promising me this multiverse thing, that's what I'm expecting. If they give it to me how I expect it, it's a 1. If they give me a hell of a lot more than I expected and really did it well, that's a 2. This is in between that. I actually thought it worked pretty good. I understood what Barry needed to do. Look, I know it's Flashpoint. I have Flashpoint. I read it. I've got the cartoon. I watched the Flash TV series. I know the Flash. I have the old series. Obviously, you guys know I'm a DC person or a comic book person. Let me put in a comic because I also like the Marvel stuff, some of it. And I understood what was going on. It's I get what Barry's doing. And look, he's trying to save his mom. What do you want? They did it well. This movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe. I don't have the exact time. I'll get to pacing in a moment. But I understood the storyline, introduced the multiverse stuff, so it's different universes and timelines. The way they explain the way the future works or the timeline works or the distortion of time or the distortion of the universes was really great. I completely understand what's going on. Basically, if you do any sort of time travel, you mess up the entire timeline, not just the future timeline, or by altering something in the past, you mess up that timeline. You literally mess up everything in the entire line. So look, it's the ripple effect or whatever. It's not like the ripple effect only goes into one direction, right? It goes everywhere. So the fact that I even attempted to change time, it's not just another universe. It's that universe's timeline is also messed up. So it's really a disaster. I know it seems a little bit weird to explain. The movie explains it, and you have to go with it. I'm a little bit peeved at people who are well, this doesn't make any sense because I time traveled and that's not what happened, right? It's nobody really knows for sure, okay? you have to go with the movie's explanation. My problem with some movies is when they explain it and then contradict their own explanation. This movie explains it and sticks to their thing. So you buy into it or not. The guy can run fast and goes to the Speed Force. If you don't like fantasy and, you know, kind of technobabble sci-fi crap, well then whatever. What are you watching this for? Okay, remember, this is Flash. He time travels. It's a mess. We know this. So that's that. The way the other characters are brought in, I thought was really good. There is fan service at the end, which I'm going to talk about in the enjoyment part of this review, okay? And I have a lot to say on it. All right, pacing. I'm going to give the pacing a 1.5. Now, I was going to give the pacing a 1. However, I was not bored. So the way the pacing works for me in this movie is that this movie is a little bit too long. I think the beginning parts, there could have been a lot of scenes shaved off. I'm thinking you could probably cut 15 minutes, no problem. However, even with that extra 15 minutes that I just said could be cut, no problem, I was not bored. Now, this is first time viewing. I'm definitely watching this again. So I have to see what I feel like on the first viewing, you don't know what's going on, so you're into it. Pacing is always a little bit better your first viewing. Your second viewing, you're like, yeah, what the hell? I don't care. Like, we'll just get... This happened with the Spider-Man No Way Home, whatever, the one with all three of them. Great in the theater. When you watch at home, you're like, God, man, this first hour needs to be like, you could cut half an hour out of that movie and you wouldn't lose anything, right? So this movie, I feel that probably 15, maybe even 20 minutes can be taken out and you wouldn't lose too much. So I'm giving it a 1.5 for pacing. I was not bored, but I realize even with that some things can be trimmed. Okay, so I can't give it a perfect score for that. The artistry. And the artistry involves many things, right? It's like the look of the film, effects, music, kind of the feel, the tone, lighting, even up to extent the way the powers work, anything that has to do with the art of the film. That's where there's some negatives. And you've already heard the CGI is not very good. It is not very good in some parts. And in other parts, it's downright awful. It's a little bit embarrassing that in 2023, they can't pull off these effects. Some of them look, people are saying it looks like a PlayStation game or something. I don't have any of these PlayStation things, so I don't know. But it definitely doesn't look like, I mean, I have an Xbox 360 and some points, the Xbox 360 looked better. So I don't know what that means to people. I don't play games. I play Street Fighter. That's the only game I've ever played, which is all 2D graphics anyways. So like, take that for what you want. There's a part where Flash is saving a baby in the very beginning, and it looks awful. Now, I'm not sure if the excuse is that, well, when he's doing the Speed Force thing, reality's worked a little bit. There's some fan service at the end. We all know that there's going to be cameos when they show different universes. It's not a spoiler. We know this, and they show other characters. And yes, they look weird. But again, now in that scene, I took it to be like, well, they're literally in the Speed Force time bubble thing and seeing other universes. So they looked a bit more cartoony. But there's not really an excuse for these poor effects with today's technology. Sean saw this with me, and I saw it with Steven and Owen from the Action Elite as well. We all agreed on that point. Sean even made the point saying that, watch, 24 hours from now, some internet whiz kid is going to fix the CGI. You know what I mean? And I've seen that. I've seen that with The Mandalorian. They had the Luke Skywalker segment in that second season. And I'm like, yeah, this is okay, I guess, but it looked a little weird. And then literally 24 hours later, someone redid that entire sequence, and you're like, well, this looks better. So it's like some kid on his computer did it. So there's no excuse. But the music was on point for me in this. I like that a lot. I like the way that they try to visualize these things. Like someone creatively tried to come up with, how are we going to really show this? This Speed Force thingy, this time travel thingy, seeing multiple realities at once, seeing different, it's not just multiple universes at once, but timelines within the universes that you got to go through. Someone really tried. I'm giving it a 1. That means it's a pass. Bad CGI doesn't actually affect my view. Like, I've watched a lot of bad movies my entire life, and I watch everything. Like, there's a lot of horror movies that have shoddy effects. They don't hold up. They weren't that great when they were out. Someone gets his hand cut off, and you're like, literally like, well, I can just tell, like, it's his sleeve, right? Like, it doesn't matter to me. So But I have to be realistic. It cannot be more than a 1 at all. In fact, maybe even a 0.5. But the music was good, and I thought everything looked cool. Like the Flash costume I thought looked pretty cool. And there were some neat parts. So there you go. All right, characters. I'm going to give the characters a 2 out of 2. I liked everybody in this movie. First of all, didn't care about Ezra Miller in the Zack Snyder films. I thought the Supergirl was going to be awful, to be honest. Obviously, Michael Keaton's the best, so we know Michael Keaton's going to be awesome. If anyone out there did not like Michael Keaton, we're going to have some issues. General Zod, look, General Zod had his moment in the Man of Steel film. He's only here for a plot device, really, and to have some sort of to have some sort of antagonist. Is he wasted? I don't know that he is, because I don't think the point of the movie is to defeat General Zod. That is just sort of the background of what's going on. This movie, if you take it back to story, this movie is more personal with Barry. That's why there's the 2 Barrys, and we're going to talk about that in a second. That's why there's the 2 Barrys with the mom. The heart of the movie is Barry, his relationship to his mother, plus his relationship even to himself in the version that had the mom. Okay, because there's 2 Barrys in here. I liked both of them. I thought Ezra Miller did a great job. Listen, remember in the beginning of this video, I'm not Ezra Miller's friend. I don't know anything about what's going on. There's allegations, there's this, and if he goes to jail or not, I don't know. I'm only reviewing what I'm watching on the screen. I thought he was great. There's a couple of jokes. Let's say there was maybe 20% of the jokes didn't go anywhere. But I think a lot of them went somewhere, and none of them were making fun of things. I hate when they make fun of superheroes. Like they say, oh, Superman's goofy with his stupid costume, or they make fun of, in X-Men, they're like, oh, what are you going to wear? Yellow spandex? Ha ha ha. I'm like, why are you making fun of the character? Nobody makes fun of Flash. It's having fun with Flash, but not making him out to be a loser. And none of the heroes look bad. So that's one positive. What else did I like? I thought Supergirl was pretty awesome. She's in it only for a little bit. Again, she's used just to have some muscle. But at no point in time, this is super important, at no point in time did they say Superman sucks and Supergirl's better. Not one. In fact, I can't do spoilers. In fact, it is very clear that Supergirl is not as good as Superman. That made me like Supergirl even more, because now I'm like, ooh, I can connect to this character in a different way than when I connect to Superman. Superman is my favorite character of all time, not just in comic books, of anything. And I love Supergirl as well. As you see, I have tons of Supergirl stuff. I love Supergirl. And I bloody hate when they have to always compare the two. Why are you comparing the two? There's no comparison. He's an adult man. She's a teenage girl. Like, and if they're both Kryptonian, they would both have those powers, but he would be bigger. Like, it's like saying, oh, like, could Schwarzenegger beat up, I don't know, like, who's a teen girl right now? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, I can't even name anybody. Like, I only think of the people I know when I was younger, but whatever. It's like Superman would be a grown man. It's Henry Cavill, okay, versus Sasha. I don't remember her name, right? So it's like, obviously he would be able to beat her up. Even if they're both Kryptonian, like, there's still a size difference, right? Like, so Supergirl is strong, but Zod is like pretty powerful, right? Zod and Superman went toe to toe, and that was a good matchup. Whether you like that movie or not, and we know I don't like it, but it doesn't matter. We have to think about the actual physics of it. So that's good. There's not one point in this movie where they're trying to be stupid or push some kind of weird agenda with anybody. Who else? Who else is in it? Yeah, so the two Flashes, I liked both of them. They're both uniquely different, and they're distinct. Like, I'm like, yep, if I was closing my eyes and I heard the dialogue, I actually would have known which character said which dialogue. That is very important. Michael Keaton's the damn best. There's nothing that needs to be said about that. Supergirl, 2 thumbs up, 100%. Really liked her a lot. Plus, she was pretty badass in the fighting as well. Enjoyment factor. I'm giving the enjoyment factor a 2 out of 2. I personally really liked this movie a lot. I might have loved the movie. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but still, enjoyment factor is not anything that you need to quantify. In my mind, I like the movie. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to buy it on 4K, and I would recommend someone to watch it. That's 4 points. If I gave each point a 0.5, that's a 2 out of 2. That's the way I look at it. I liked it. I'd recommend it. I'd buy it. I'd watch it again. There you go. So 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie a hell of a lot. Like, I thought this was going to be like a 4 out of 10. Like, I thought I might be okay. It was production hell, right? Whatever. There's some people who are going to say the story was too confusing and they didn't care about the characters and the effects. Those are the big 2 hits. The big 2 hits are the effects and the story. The story didn't affect me that much. I thought it was fine. So some people out there might give this like a 6 or 7 out of 10. That's totally for sure on you. I'm going to be doing a live stream, open mic. I want to hear everyone's opinions. I think this is going to be a big open stream because a lot of people have been talking about this movie. That's going to be Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on my channel. So make sure that you're there for that. You can subscribe if you want to. It doesn't matter. I let anyone come in. I will have open mic. Anyone can come in whether you're subscribed or not. That's just how it goes. I'm not going to be picky about it. I can have 10 people in at a time, so just keep that in, or no, 9 people in at a time, I think. So keep that in mind. I will bring people in as we can, all right? All right, let's do some spoiler talk. So that's it, guys. Review is over. Let's go spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers, okay. Well, we know that there's the cameos at the end. And yes, they're CGI and they're not that great. But it doesn't matter. Look, it's fan service, right? Okay, but what does fan service mean? Fan service means I'm a fan of something and they're trying to please me. So that's a good thing. There's different types of fan service. So for example, you might show something like, you know, let's say this is the Flash. Oh, let's show something from Gotham Knights or from Batwoman, right? And you're like, there, see, it's fan service. No, there's no fans of Batwoman. The people making this movie literally thought, okay, we're going to do a multiverse. We need to show you a bunch of things, right? A bunch of cool stuff, because that's why you want to see. You want to see that in a multiverse movie. That's the draw, right? Well, what should we show? They're like, what about Grant Gustin? They didn't show him. At least I didn't see him. If you saw him, let me know. So that means the CW was ignored. And I thought, oh no, that's a snub, because I actually like Grant Gustin as Flash. That show, on the other hand, has had some really bad things. But Grant Gustin's good, but I'm like, you know what? No, overall that show is not working for me, right? I like some parts of it, some parts I don't like. They showed George Reeves. Now look, the show was in color for the most part, and Sean and I talked about this, but they showed the black and white universe of the George Reeves TV show for like the first couple seasons or whatever. But that was to let the audience know that's what that was, just in case. Look, someone put up their hand in the boardroom and said, why don't we show George Reeves? Right there. I'm not saying that's enough to forgive the faults of the film, but that means the person making this actually cares about DC. This is not just a cash grab, right? They're not even showing this. If they would have said to me, yo, J-Man, George Reeves is in this, Adam West is in this, Christopher Reeve is in this, Helen Slater standing next to Christopher Reeve is in this, which we always wanted out of the Supergirl movie, but they couldn't get Reeve on board. We now see them together. Think about this in your head. You see them, it's only for a couple seconds. You see them together though, and the CGI is not great, but man, to see them both together, that's cool. The heart was there. Look, George Clooney at the end. Are you kidding me? I'm the only person who loves Batman. And, well, there's a few other people. Look, I love Batman and Robin. It's cheese. To have George Clooney come in, wow, that is hilarious. That is really funny, okay? That is so funny. Nicolas Cage fighting the giant spider. We have heard this giant spider, Superman lives, whatever thing. And it, my God, with the long hair, in the costume, in that crappy costume that we saw, that's someone who really wants to do stuff that we haven't seen before. They're like, you know what? Let's bring this to the fans. People have talked about it. This isn't fan service by just saying, let's promote The fan service of let's promote what we're currently doing or what we are going to do, that's bad fan service. This is fan service of let's celebrate these characters. Okay? I mean, Adam West. Holy crap. Christopher Reeve, George Reeves, Helen Slater. Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing people. Just let that sink in. There's no agenda. This movie doesn't have any agenda. It doesn't have any of these politics in it. It only has the story it presented. There's some flaws. It's a film, guys. It's a film. But somebody really cares. They really cared. They pointed to you. And they're like, the people that love George Reeves, there's not a lot of them left. They're probably all in their 50s or 60s. Some of them may have passed away, even depending on how old they were. So what is the point of having George Reeves in it? There's 0 point in having George Reeves in this film. Because my entire crowd, when Superman, the real Superman, when Christopher Reeve showed up, everyone cheered. When they showed George Reeves, no, except for me and my buddies. Everyone, like I clapped. Everyone's like, they don't really know. So what is the point of it? Why is that in the movie? Well, it's in the movie because George Reeves is important and should be honored. And the filmmakers knew that. It's only fan service because I know what it is. For other people, they're like, oh, I guess it's just some other Superman. So they hit that audience. They hit the Christopher Reeve audience. Having Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater together, we always wanted to see that, and it never happened. So someone sat there and said, hey, you know what never happened? Helen and Chris together. Oh, why don't we do that? Think about the thought process of this person. Oh, why don't we put Batwoman in it? Batwoman? Well, why? Well, you know, it's like, yeah, we're going to promote this. It's like, nobody likes that. Why don't we have Gotham Knights in it? Huh? Why? They had, like Ben Affleck had the navy blue. It was dark blue with the gray. Like he had a blue and gray. Like, that's awesome, right? That is someone trying. Fan service is okay when it actually serves the fans in a nice way. And did it fit in this movie? Sure, it's multiverse. Why not? Why not have it, right? It's a multiverse thing. Let's have some fun for once in our friggin' lives. Can I have a movie where we're celebrating this stuff? No one said George Reeves is the R word. No one said, oh, the Christopher Reeve movies are trash. No one said any of this. They just showed them as being epic. When Superman came out, it was all of these shots are epic. This isn't just a guy there. They didn't show Superman being an idiot and Supergirl saving him or something stupid. There's nothing. So I don't know, guys. Like, you can have your opinions, and I'm going to be fighting for this movie. I'm sorry. I'm going to fight for it. I will fight. I don't fight on all the movies. You know, I let a lot of people take their battle if they're going to battle it. You know, if you think this movie's trash, that's fine. But I had the lowest expectations of all time. So, and it's not just, oh, Christopher Reeve and then J-Man's going to give you a pass. That is not true, because I'm still not giving this 10 out of 10. But that is not true. But in my heart, it matters to me. George Reeves, not Christopher Reeve, George Reeves, Christopher Reeve, because people get that confused. George Reeves sold me. I'm like, there is no point in putting that in this movie other than to say, look, we know that this is important and this needs to be shown. Maybe some people will leave the theater and be like, hey, who was that black and white Superman? That looks kind of interesting. These people cared. Look at Indiana Jones 5. They make fun of the character. She's like, oh, you stole from the natives and all that. What? What are you talking? Look at the Star Wars treatment. Look at all this crap. I'm not saying that just because they had these multiverse fan service things at the end, we can forgive the movie. But the movie is still good anyway. Even if they didn't have any of that multiverse stuff, I thought it was enjoyable. My enjoyment factor probably would have been a 1. So I probably would have been like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I probably would have been at a 7 out of 10 without these cameos at the end. So 7 out of 10 is still pretty good. So it was a pretty good movie with awesome cameos. And I don't care. Oh, it doesn't look that good. The CGI is, you know, PlayStation. Okay, well, I don't know. The guy cared, okay? Someone really cared. Even to have Michael Keaton back in such a large capacity. He wasn't in it for about an hour. But when he shows up, he's awesome. And he looked pretty good. And they took the Batman Returns costume logo thing, which the first Batman 89 had that extra 2 points. It's like the bat symbol was like a little few points and then it came down. I didn't like that. The Batman Returns bat symbol was the proper bat symbol, and that's what they had in this movie. Plus Gal Gadot's in it. You got Aquaman in it as a bit of a joke at the end. Guys, this is a long review. I'm sorry, but I have to make this clear to you. I had to make it clear to you. It's like you don't understand. Like, just the thought process of putting that in there is amazing. Nicolas Cage fighting the giant spider. That, nobody knows what that is. You have to be really into this to understand that. And the whole Kevin Smith going on tour making fun of, was it Peters? What's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. Peters. Wow. Damn, I forgot his name. He's like, oh, I need to have a giant spider. And then Wild Wild West has a giant spider, all that stuff. Oh, Nicolas Cage is going to have the long hair and the costume's awful. They put that in there. And it was epic. You got to see Superman fight a giant spider. I don't know. I know it's just fan service, and that's one small part of the movie, but I like the movie anyways. Even without it, I still like the movie. The fan service stuff made it better, and it was good quality fan service in my opinion. That's it, guys. Thanks. If you've been watching this entire time, then really I thank you for going through all this with me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. That's it. Until next time.